We all ask why we should work this hard. Why take that many classes? Why go to school that many years? You know why take the notes. Why read the books? Why work that hard? Why put yourself through the push UPS and the disciplines? Why? Good question, why? Best answer to why, I think, is the second question. Why not? Why not see how many books you can read, how many classes you can take, how many skills you can develop? Why not see how valuable you can become to the marketplace, to your friends, and to your family? Why not see what you can make of yourself? Why not see how far you can go? How much you can see, how much you can earn? How much you can share? Why not? That's the heritage all of us have in America especially. It's to see what we can make out of our lives now that we've been given this extraordinary option. Whatever you don't use, you lose. If you tie your arm to your body, leave it there long enough, you'll never use it again. It's over for the arm now. May not be over, but it's over for the arm. The only way to keep the use of this arm is what? Keep using it. If you quit, you lose automatically. Now the same thing that goes for your arm, goes for your brain mentality. The same thing goes for all the human virtues. Ambition unused declines. Strong feelings unused diminish. It doesn't grow, it diminishes. Faith unused decreases. It's a law. Vitality unused diminishes. Energy unused decreases. Let me just quickly give you a list of 4 emotions that can change your life in one. Emotions are powerful. Sometimes it doesn't take much to alter your whole life direction. Okay, here they are. No. 1. Disgust. Powerful emotion. Disgust says, I am headed. See, that could be the day you can say, I've had it. And whether you've had it with something small or something major, the day you can say, I've had it, may not be the day it ends, but the day begins. That's what I said when that little Girl Scout left my door. When I'm 25, I give her the big lie. She leaves, I say, I don't want to live like this anymore. I've had it with lying and being broke. Starting tomorrow, what are you going to do? That will make a change in your life's direction. Good question. What are you going to do starting tomorrow? That will make a difference. Now see, if you don't do something starting tomorrow, that will make a difference. Guess what? It's going to be the same. And see, that way you can guess what the next 5 years are going to be like. The last 5. Cause the next 5 are going to be like the last 5. Unless you made your key tomorrow. Change it all, or change a little, or change something, or don't change. It's choice time. You can do whatever you want, but it's nice to know any day you wish you can change your whole life. Success is not something you pursue. Success is something you become. We all want to be successful, and success is a recurrent theme in the media. However, have you taken the time to define what success really means to you? What kind of person do you want to become? Here is my personal definition of success. Success is when you work on becoming the best you can become. Do what you love and give your best contribution to the world. What is your definition of success? Success is too often people seek fame, recognition, and money just to realize, after years of hard work, that those goals don't bring them real fulfillment. And often they are left feeling empty. You need to take time to determine what success means. For you don't let society, the media, your family, or your friends define it for you. Only you know what success means to you. Ask yourself, how can I serve people while doing what I love? Think about what you can give, not about what you want to get. As the Bible says, give, and it shall be given unto you. What is the meaning of life? Generally, there are two types of thinking. Regarding the meaning of life, we were all born with a specific purpose. We have to give meaning to our life. I like both ideas, and I don't know which one is true. But it doesn't really matter. Main characteristics of a great life purpose. Below are some characteristics of a great life purpose that you might want to consider timeless. If you could use a time machine and go back in time or into the future, your life purpose would remain the same, universal. If you were born in a different part of the world, your purpose would still be the same. Inspiring your life purpose should be truly inspiring and allow you to unleash your full potential and experience a real sense of fulfillment. When your purpose really resonates within you, what you are doing doesn't really feel like working anymore. Transcend your ego. Most of us work in order to make a living, to gain recognition, or to feel accepted by society. A true life purpose should come from a place of love, not fear. When you have a clear life purpose, you don't act out of fear anymore. Fear of not being good enough, not being worthy, not being smart enough. Although we are unlikely to completely get rid of our ego, we should try to base our actions from a place of love as much as we can, which becomes possible when our ego is under control. Powerful questions to ask yourself. Let me give you several ways that can help you identify your life purpose. How can I leverage my problems? Think about how you can give meaning to your problems and challenges. Rather than complaining about a problem, it is often possible to take advantage of it by seeing the meaning it brings to your life. Viktor Frankl, in his book, Man's Search for Meanings, observed the odd phenomenon. During his time in a Nazi concentration camp, for individuals that were physically very strong often died long before smaller, skinnier, and weaker individuals, simply because the smaller guy had found meaning to his suffering. How can I get paid to do what I love? What is it that you like to do? How can you find a way to make a living out of it? Did you know that the word enthusiasm means God within? It is impossible to be very successful if you don't really love what you do. If you don't follow your passion, you won't be able to keep moving forward after multiple failures. Only a strong why will allow you to keep going, despite the hardships. Having passion will lead to fulfillment, which is real success, not just money or fame. How can I better serve? How can you create more value for society? Stop thinking about what you can get from society. Think about what you want to give to society. If you had all the money and time in the world, what would you do? What do you love so much that you pay to do it? Take a pen and a piece of paper and answer the following question. What is my life purpose? Don't overthink. Just write whatever comes into your mind. Keep doing it until the sentence you write makes you cry. Don't lose sight of the only thing that matters in life, being happy. Now let me give you the secret to success. The formula for failure: a few errors and repeat it every day for 1 month. Starts the weakness, starts the disaster process. You can imagine what happens in 6 years. Now here's the formula for success. A few. Simple. Disciplines practice. Every day. And if you decide today to go for the apple instead of the Hershey bar, I'm telling you, you have begun the process of turning your life around. And if you keep up that process, not only with your health habits, but with your money habits and with your communication habits, with your sales habits, management habits, and every other habit. If you start that process, eliminate the errors and replace it with disciplined practice. I'm telling you, can start this process of life change immediately. If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. You can be either the victim or the creator of your life. Which one would you like to be? Many of us fail to realize one very important factor in life. Everything is a matter of choice. You are responsible for all areas of your life. Are you giving your power away? Each time you fail to take responsibility in any area of your life, you give your power away to circumstances and people around you. Each time you play the victim, you disempower yourself and limit your ability to change yourself and move forward. Not taking responsibility means that you refuse to acknowledge that you have at least some control over most of the things that happen to you. You refuse to look for possibilities to make your life better. Taking responsibility is not always easy because it requires that you tell yourself the truth, that you accept the fact that you may have done something wrong or that you could have done things differently. Emotionally speaking, blaming people or circumstances is much easier than looking within yourself for possible shortcomings and mistakes you might have made. For some reason, it feels more natural to blame people or circumstances. Refusing to take responsibility and letting go of our control gives us a false sense of relief. It also protects our ego. It is always easier to blame others than to change. However, blaming others is a huge impediment to personal growth. You are unlikely to reach your goals in life if you cannot get rid of this habit and start acting as the creator of, rather than a player in your life. Commit yourself to take full responsibility for your life, even in situations where you don't really believe you are responsible. Taking extra responsibility ensures that you are not overlooking possibilities for growth and change in life and are fully empowering yourself. Taking responsibility never means beating yourself up or blaming yourself. That kind of attitude is likely to be counterproductive and result in self-sabotage, leading you to give up and giving you further excuses not to change and move forward. Taking responsibility is accepting reality and realizing you have at least some power to change it. And I'm responsible for absolutely everything. I know you are thinking, what if something I have absolutely no control over happens to me? What if my husband or wife gets killed in a terrorist attack? I am responsible for that. While you are not responsible for this event, you are responsible for the way you choose to react to it. You can find meaning from the tragedy and move forward with your life, or you can live in the past, thinking all day long about ways to track the terrorists down and take your revenge. Revenge is a current theme of many movies and is appealing for a lot of people. However, revenge is an ego game and, without a doubt, one of the most destructive behaviors in the world. Revenge is the antithesis of peace of mind and cannot bring fulfillment. Martin Luther King once said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." Unfortunately, too often our focus is on taking revenge, getting even, or being right rather than on being happy. However, you should realize that in the end, the reason why you forgive people and move on is not because you are an extremely nice and completely selfless person. It is because you understand that it is the only way to be at peace with yourself. Forgiveness is nothing more than a declaration of love to yourself. It is a critical part of the commitment you made to yourself to be happy, no matter what events that happen to you. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to let them ruin your life? Or are you going to build strength and meaning out of them? Only you can decide. I invite you to take some time to identify areas of your life where you are giving power away by refusing consciously or unconsciously to take full responsibility. Your family or your friends may support you in life, but in the end, you are always alone. The reality is that nobody is coming to save you. Nobody can get married for you and die for you. Don't live your life by default. Create your life. Where does self-confidence come from? And this is the best advice I can give you on that. Not neglecting first of all the small daily disciplines. Self-confidence really comes from feeling good about yourself. And one of the best ways to feel yourself is at the end of the day, to know that you poured it on. You did your best. If you conducted the meeting, you did the best you could. If you made a phone call, it was the best phone call you could possibly make. If you wrote a letter, it wasn't a casual letter. It was your best letter. At the end of those kind of days, when you feel good about yourself, self-confidence starts to rise. You know that if you can have this kind of a good day, you can have another one the next day. And those days become the weeks become the months, and the month becomes a powerful year. I got a key phrase for you. Life accumulates. We either accumulate the debt or the value. We either accumulate the regret or we accumulate the equity. Now we must all suffer one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And I'm suggesting discipline. Mental discipline to refine ideas. Of course, it's the warriors and of course the push, but it's called small price to pay. So that you won't have the regret later on. Regret wastes time. Discipline weighs ounces. I'm telling you, for things to get better, you gotta get better. Don't ask for it to change out there. Ask for you to change. Don't ask for a more favorable wind. We call that naive. Don't ask for better seed, better soil. This is the only planet you got. Just ask that you can get wiser and stronger and better. Be able to take care of your own responsibilities. Get better. Learn how to handle the seasons better. Let's go through them. Just get better at handling the winters. You can't change the winter. You can't change the seasons. But you can change yourself. The whole key is to make yourself valuable. The key is to make yourself attractive. The key is to make yourself skillful. Confident, willing, powerful. Unique, sophisticated. Culture, being able to manage and control. Healthy, the whole key really. To the future is personal development. Because the greatest gift you can give to someone else is your personal development. Self-development, self-investment. If I become 10 times wiser, 10 times stronger, 10 times brighter, 10 times more competent, think of what that will do for my success. Your successes fuel your ambition. Your successes give you extra energy. Your successes pave the way for more successes. It's the snowball effect with one success. You're excited to meet another and another and another. And pretty soon the disciplines that were so difficult, in the beginning the disciplines that got you going, are now part of your philosophy. There is one magic word that stands out. Above all the rest, it is discipline. Discipline is the bridge between thought and accomplishment, between inspiration and achievement, between necessity and productivity. Remember, all good things are located upstream from us. The passing of time takes us adrift, and drifting only brings us the negative, the disappointment, and the failure. Failure is not a cataclysmic event. It is not generally the result of one major incident, but rather of a long list of accumulated little failings. If your goal requires that you write 10 letters today, and you write only 3, you are down 7 letters. If you want to make 5 calls and only make 1, you are down 4 calls. If your plan calls for saving $10 today, and you save none, you are down $10. The danger is looking at an undisciplined day and concluding that no great harm has been done. But add up these days to make a year, and then add up those years to make a lifetime, and it will become apparent how repeating today's small failures can easily turn your life into a major disaster. Success, on the other hand, is just the same process in reverse. If you plan to make 10 calls, and you end the day having made 15, you are up 5 calls. You can see what a massive difference this sort of thing could make in a year. And what wealth and accomplishment await over a lifetime. Discipline is like a set of magic keys that can unlock all the doors of wealth, happiness, culture, high self-esteem, pride, joy, accomplishment, satisfaction, and success. The first key to discipline is awareness of the need for and value of discipline, especially the discipline to make the necessary changes. What will it take? What must I do? And what must I become to get all I want from life? The second key is willingness. More than that, it is the eagerness to maintain your new discipline, deliberately, wisely, and consistently. The third key to discipline is the commitment to master the circumstances of your daily life, to see and harness the opportunities to make something of the good, as well as that which comes in the guise of misfortune. Discipline does many things, but most important of all is what it does for your mindset. It makes you feel better about yourself. Even the smallest discipline can have an incredible effect on your attitude and the good feeling you get. That surging feeling of self-worth that comes from starting a new discipline is almost as good as the feeling that comes from the accomplishment the discipline brings. A new discipline immediately alters your life direction. You don't change destinations immediately. That is yet to come. But you can change direction immediately. And direction is very important. Discipline cooperates with nature. Everything strives. It is a common life function. How tall will a tree grow? As tall as it can. Everything strives to become all it can possibly be. And that is what discipline is all about. Striving to fulfill our natural potential. To become all that we can be. The human will in action driven by inspiration. Enticed by desire, tempered by reason. Guided by intelligence. Can bring you to that high and lofty place called the good life. Discipline attracts opportunity, which is always attracted to ambition and skill in action. Discipline taps the unlimited power of commitment. Discipline. Those unique steps of intelligent thought and activity that put a lid on temper and a faucet on courtesy, that develop the positive and control the negative, that encourage success and deter failure, that shape lifestyle and control frustration, that enhance health and curb sickness, that promote happiness and manage sadness. Discipline. The continuing process that brings all the good things. Remember, anyone can start the process. It's not if I could, I would rather. It's if I would, I could. If I will, I can. So start the process. Begin a new habit no matter how small it is. Size isn't important whether or not you start. And whether or not you continue are all that matter. What's the core of achieving the good life? It is not learning how to set goals. It is not learning how to better manage your time. It is not mastering the attributes of leadership. Every day in 1,000 different ways, we are trying to improve ourselves by learning how to do things. We spend a lifetime gathering knowledge in classrooms, in textbooks and experiences. And if knowledge is power, if knowledge is the forerunner to success, why do we fall short of our objectives? Why, in spite of all our knowledge and collected experiences, do we find ourselves aimlessly wandering, settling for a life of existence, rather than a life of substance? There may be many answers to this question. Your answer may be different from that of everyone else you know. While there may be many answers to this question, the ultimate answer may be the absence of discipline in applying our knowledge. The key word is discipline, as in self-discipline. It doesn't really matter how smart you are if you don't use your knowledge. It doesn't really matter that you graduated magna cum laude if you're stuck in a low-paying job. It doesn't really matter that you attend every seminar that comes to town if you don't apply what you've learned. We spend our lives gathering knowledge, gathering skills, gathering experiences. But we must also apply the knowledge, skills, and experiences we gather in the realms of life and business. We must learn to use what we've learned. And once we've applied our knowledge, we must study the results of that process and refine our approach. Finally, by trying and observing and refining and trying again, our knowledge will inevitably produce worthy, admirable results. And with the joy and results of our efforts, we continue to fuel our ambition with the positive reinforcement of continued progress. Pretty soon we'll find that we're swept into a spiral of achievement, a vertical rise to success, and the ecstasy of that. Total experience makes for a life triumphant over tragedy, dullness, and mediocrity. But for this whole process to work for us, we must first master the art of consistent self-discipline. It takes consistent self-discipline to master the arts of setting goals, time management, leadership, parenting, and relationship. If we don't make consistent self-discipline part of our daily lives, the results we seek will be sporadic and elusive. It takes a consistent effort to truly manage our valuable time. Without it, we'll be consistently frustrated. Our time will be eaten up by others, whose demands are stronger than our own. It takes discipline to conquer the nagging voices in our minds. The fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of poverty, the fear of a broken heart. It takes discipline to keep trying when that nagging voice within us brings up the possibility of failure. It takes discipline to admit our errors and recognize our limitations. The voice of the human ego speaks to all of us. Sometimes that voice tells us to magnify our value or accomplishments beyond our actual results. It leads us to exaggerate, to not be totally honest. It takes discipline to be totally honest, both with ourselves and with others. Be certain of one thing: every exaggeration of the truth, once detected by others, destroys our credibility. It makes all that we say and do suspect. As soon as a business colleague figures out that we tend to exaggerate, guess what? He'll think we always exaggerate. And he'll never quite hold us in the same regard again. The tendency to exaggerate, distort, or even withhold the truth is an inherent part of all of us. It starts when we're kids. Johnny says, "I didn't do it. I didn't do it well." Maybe Johnny didn't do it, but he probably had something to do with it. And then it continues when we're adults. Exaggerating the benefits of a product to make a sale. Exaggerating our net worth to impress old friends. Exaggerating how close we are to closing a deal to impress the boss only an all-out. Disciplined assault can overcome this tendency. It takes discipline to change a habit. Because once habits are formed, they act like a giant cable. And nearly unbreakable instinct that only long-term, disciplined activity can change. We must unweave every strand of the cable of habits. Slowly and methodically. Until the cable that once held us in bondage becomes nothing more than scattered strands of wire. It takes the consistent application of a new discipline. A more desirable discipline. To overcome one which is less desirable. It takes discipline to plan. It takes discipline to execute our plan. It takes discipline to look with full objectivity at the results of our applied plan. And it takes discipline to change either our plan or our method of executing that plan. If the results are poor, it takes discipline to be firm when the world throws opinions at our feet. And it takes discipline to ponder the value of someone else's opinion when our pride and our arrogance leads us to believe that we are the only ones with the answers. With this consistent discipline applied to every area of our lives, we can discover untold miracles and uncover unique possibilities and opportunities. You might draw a little circle. This is where you are 10 years from now. You could be here, or 10 years from now. You could be here, and the difference in 10 years between here and here could be significant in money and lifestyle treasures. Equity in 10 years, an incredible difference. But right here, a small difference in the change of discipline. The change of thinking to start you on this journey versus this journey now. It's also very important intellectually to know whether or not you're headed this way or this way. And once you decide 10 years from now, I think that the gathering of my intellectual and personal and spiritual and moral and economic treasure may not be that great. The key is to start right now, making these changes to walk this new road. If you start early, the fortune belongs to you. If you start early, all fortunes that are available to humans. If you start early, the promise looms large, and the odds are heavy in your favor. Now, yes, it's possible to do some radical things starting late, and still arrive with some good treasures and some good things. But when you haven't got that much time left, now sometimes the decisions have to be so drastic. People are not willing to make it. They're too tired to weary and too ill and say, look, I don't have much time left. It's not going to happen for me anyway. It's easy to take that attitude. But everyone here, we've got the time over the next 10 years. We've got the time the next 20 years. We got the time the next 30 years to make some repair now in our errors of the past and set up some new disciplines. And I'm telling you, that's going to change it. What else could we do to make it better? How could we possibly improve? This is called the possibility for life. Change starts with education. Don't be lazy in learning. Don't be lazy in picking up the ideas. Don't be lazy and learning from your own experience. To make your life work out worthwhile, you've got to have some ideas. You've got to have the information. So you've got to be smart. In fact, in this decade, you must be much smarter than you were. In the last decade, you've got to read the book. You've got to come up with the information. when I have a chance to talk to the high school kids. That's the theme of my talk. Get smart. There's nothing worse than being stupid. And if you will read the books, learn from your experiences, do all the things that you possibly can to get the information, sure enough, you'll be wiser this year than you were last year. -1 years from now, I wish for you to arrive at a well-designed place. A place of productivity. A place that will make you feel good about yourself. A place that will give you honor and respect. A place that will give you influence to touch other people 5 years from now that you couldn't do today. Where will you be in 5 years? Key phrase: we go the direction we face. If you start designing something at the end of this direction, sure enough, you will start going the direction you face. Wealth is a word that conjures a wide variety of mental images. And that is part of my purpose, to provoke that wide variety of mental images. For that is where the dreams are, where inspiration comes from, where true incentive is born. To one person, wealth means having enough financial substance to be able to do whatever you wish with your life. To another, it may mean freedom from debt, freedom from the constant claim of obligation. To yet another, it means opportunity. And to many, wealth means a millionaire. Millionaire is a unique word. It rings of success, freedom, power, influence, pleasure, possibility, benevolence, and excitement. Not a bad mental image. We could talk about the wealth of experience, the wealth of friends, the wealth of love, the wealth of family, the wealth of culture, wealth of many kinds. But I'm gonna focus on wealth in the sense of financial freedom, wealth that comes from tremendous effort and enterprise, and gets translated into currency and equity for each of us. The amount of money required to be wealthy will differ, but the dream for all of us, I'm sure, is the same. Freedom from financial pressure. More freedom of choice. Freedom to enjoy our lives. And the opportunity to create and to share our wealth. Above all, wealth represents the possession of great financial resources that improve the quality of your life and give you added dignity and an expanded lifestyle. So decide for yourself what wealth means to you. Latch on to your own mental image of wealth and see if the ideas I'm about to tell you about will make sense. I can only hope that they will provide you with the inspiration to put your plan into high gear. Once you do, will you soon enjoy a growing sense of freedom, dignity, self-worth, substance, and lifestyle. Your economic future is not going to be determined by the economy, but rather your own philosophy. I had one woman chastise me severely. She said, "Mr. Ron, you can't promise young people they can become wealthy and financially independent. It's just not in the cards. These days, it takes everything a person makes just to keep his or her head above water and the vault away from the door." I said, "No, that's not true." She said, "It is true. You can't offer hope to all the people who listen to you, telling them they can become financially independent, especially children. They'll be sadly disillusioned. It's not in the cards these days." I said, "Gosh, I wish I could persuade you otherwise." So I decided to use this illustration. I asked her, "Can you think of a couple right now who makes $5,000 a month?" She said, "Yes, if I think really hard, I could come up with a couple who makes $5,000 a month." I said, "What would they tell you it takes just to keep their head above water and the vault away from the door?" She replied, "They'd say all of it." I said, "Now, if it takes all of it, how do you account for this extra $500? Here's what happens. There are errors in judgment. When it comes to economic philosophy, many people think it's the economy, but it's the philosophy. And if the second couple save their extra $500 and live like the first couple on $5,000, that $500 a month invested over the next 15 years would make them financially independent. The difference is not your paycheck. The difference is your philosophy. The whole world benefits if we all leave more profit, touch something, and leave it better than you found it. I talked to a man who rents a lot of apartments. He said, Mr. Ron, you wouldn't believe it. When most people leave the apartment, it's trash. What a reputation to leave. That everything you touch gets dirty. You've got to turn that around. Train yourself to leave a profit instead. A friend of mine has made money on every car he's bought because when he sells them, they're in better condition than when he acquires them. The key for parents is to touch a life and leave it better than you found it. The key for leaders is to touch a business and leave it better than you found it. The key for employees is to touch a job and leave it better than you found it. Leave a profit. What a world this would be if everybody tried to leave in better condition than they found it.